Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and today let's go through the books that I read in August. So starting off strong, we had another Mariana Zapata book, All Roads Lead Here. This one I rated like a 4.2 out of 5. I loved Tobias and I loved Aurora's relationship, the enemies to friends to lovers, the small cute things he did for her, the way he looked after her. I think this book for me kind of hit home because I could relate to Aurora and her grief. And when I was reading through it, it was almost like I was going through a healing journey at the same time. I would definitely recommend. Tropes include the basic Mariana Zapata tropes. That's enemies to friends to lovers, age gap romance, grumpy sunshine, single dad, kind of like a mystery as well. Not really, but you know, there's bits of pieces of it in there. So definitely recommend for anyone who wants to read that kind of trope. 4.2 out of 5. The next book I read in August was Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. This is pretty much the same sort of STEM romance that is present in like the Love Hypothesis, Love Theoretically, Love in the Brain, just like it's pretty much the same plot. This one though is more of like a spicy romance than it is plot-wise. It's just about two emotionally unavailable people that get together and sort of enjoy each other's bodies. And it's a friends with benefits romance. It's sort of rivals to lovers as well. It was good, but I rated this like a 3.9 out of 5. It's not my favorite Ali Hazelwood book. This wasn't something that stood out to me. It was just a lot of schmut, darling. There's a lot of spice in this one. If you want to read something like along those lines, feel free. Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, 3.9. From now on, I kind of spiraled into fantasy books. I am quite literally in my fantasy era right now where I cannot pick up a book if it's not fantasy. So the first book I read was Powerless by Lauren Roberts. TikTok said that this book was amazing. So I was like, you know what, let me be the judge of that. I read this and I was just like, it's good, but is it overrated? Maybe just a little bit, just a tiny bit. It's young adults, there's no spice in it, they haven't even kissed, nothing along those lines. It's enemies to lovers. It's about the mundanes and the elites, the mundanes being people with no powers and the elites being people with powers. We have Payden, who is a mundane, and we've got Kai, who is an elite, and they're kind of like forced into this trial to the death. It was good, but it wasn't like, oh my god, wow, I'm obsessed. I know that the novella and book 2 is out, which I'll probably get around to reading at some point in my life. But for now, I read this and I said, you know what? It's a good book. It's a good place to start with YA fantasy if you want to get into YA fantasy. I rated this book a 4 out of 5. Now, would it be a stellar reading wrap-up if I did not enter some dark romance? Darling, after this, because this literally had nothing in it, there was not even one hint of spice, I was like, I need to throw myself in the deep end and read the most debauched book there is out there. So I picked up none other than the Fae Chronicles by Emily Hutchins. You guys may recognize this book in my previous hauls. I did buy books 1, 2, and 3. It's like this massive series of interconnected standalones. Think Rena Kent, but Amelia Hutchins. You know what I mean? I've only read book 1, though I have read through book 2 and kind of just like left it halfway, but I'll get to that in a second. But the first book, for sure, I enjoyed. It's about fays and witches, humans, etc. It's enemies to lovers, fated mates, mystery, murder. There's like age gap, there's grumpy sunshine. There's a lot going on in this book. There's a lot to uncover. I liked the first book and I rated this a 4 out of 5. I think it was a really cool read. It's fast paced and very spicy, darling. Like very spicy. However, this book was described to me as being really dark, but I couldn't find the darkness. Like, it was just spice. There was no darkness. The MMC, he's Fae, and he's literally known as the Prince of the Dark Fae. But it was literally not dark at all. So I was kind of expecting something to be like trigger heavy. I was expecting it to be like traumatizing, like almost H.D. Carlton level or Harley Leroux level, something along those lines. But this was just spice. It wasn't dark at all. So I was just thinking, I must have read it wrong then. Anyways, regardless of that, I enjoyed this. I didn't necessarily enjoy book 2. Will I pick this series back up in the future? Most probably. But regardless of that, I enjoyed this. 4 out of 5. Now, the next book that I picked up changed my life. Like, it changed and alternated chemicals in my brain, the way I think, the way I speak, the way I just exist. This book series, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. The Book of Azrael, Gods and Monsters series by Amber Nicole. I've literally gone to every single one of my friends and I said to them, drop everything you're doing and read this book series immediately. This has me in a chokehold, it has me in an MMA move. Like Sarah J Maas, Amber Nicole. Dare I say it? I'm not playing with you. The thing I love about this book is that the FMC is morally grey. It's got really complex characters. Imagine Game of Thrones, right? You know how, like, for example, we hated Jaime in the first season, but then Jaime in the 7th season, we were like, oh my god, please don't let him die. It's got characters like that. Like, it's got characters that are purely evil, that you hate, and you just want them to die. But when they do, or when they're about to, you're just like, no, keep them alive, keep them alive. So it's just like, it's mind-boggling. Amber Nicole has literally written a book that is just, it keeps you on your toes, quite literally. It's fast-paced. We've got Samkyo and we've got Diana. They are mortal enemies to friends to lovers. And we've got like the gods and the celestials, and then we've got the Igmarutherans. They're like mortal enemies from like centuries of wars and stuff. And anyways, Diana and Samkyo come together to try and like find the Book of Azrael. And then from that is just like a whole kind of mystery and like years of history that's unraveled between them and the truth and everything else. And it's such a wild ride that I'm upset I haven't found about this book sooner. Like, obsessed. I think I rated this a 4.8 out of 5. The only reason why I didn't rate out of 5 is because I don't actually know why. I don't actually know why. I think it's just a 5 out of 5 then, you know, why not? Tropes being, like I said, mortal enemies to friends to lovers, age gap, fantasy, found family. Is it Grumpy Sunshine? Yeah, it is kind of Grumpy Sunshine. Fated mates. Love it. Then I read the second book in the Gods and Monsters series. Oh my god, straight 5 out of 5. Straight 5 out of 5, because the way this book finished, I ran to this book. I literally leaped. 5 out of 5. Oh my god. Amber, if I could kiss your feet, woman, I would. So this book obviously continues on from the first book. There's a few things that happened, and then Diana kind of goes on like a rampage. And the first like 100 pages, oh my god. I was screaming. I have never read such a badass female character. Like, seriously, badass. Like, she is mommy. She's mommy. Like, mom. She's no longer morally grey. She's the villain at this point in the time. There's just like this whole journey of her healing and growing, I guess, with Samkyo. Again, there's a lot to uncover. There's a lot to unpack, but she basically just goes on a rampage and she kills everyone. And I love it. I love it. It's so good. And then obviously there are more mysteries that are revealed. There's more secrets that are revealed that kind of push Diana and Samkyo together. There's love. There's betrayal. Oh my god, is there betrayal? It's so crazy. But this book for me was 100% 5 out of 5. And the way this ended, I had to again leap for the third book, which is again 5 out of 5 for me. This book was just a roller coaster of emotions. Like the last 50 pages. You know the thing about fantasy books, the last 100 pages has you gripping your seat, like clutching your pearls. You know, that was me, because I'm so sad that I've come to the end of this book series. That being, this isn't the end. It's just I have to wait another 9 months for the 4th book to come out. The way this ended, oh my god. Oh my god, Amber needs to release that book now. It's about trying to get your family back together. It's about moving on or healing from the betrayals of the second book. The villains have come into the spotlight. They're no longer the shadows. And it's just like a massive journey of all of these people coming together and either fighting, dying, or loving. This book series, for sure, if you haven't read it, read it now. Like, I cannot talk about this book series enough. The Gods and Monsters series has changed my life. Amber Nicole, I worship you, woman, and I want you to know that you have found another fan in me, because oh my god, I've never read a book series as captivating, as mesmerizing as this. And the way you write, I wish I could write like you. Seriously, sending you love, Amber Nicole. The last book I read in August was King of Battle and Blood. This was not for me. I read it, I finished it. I rated this one a 3.5. I liked the book. It wasn't bad. There were 3 reasons why I didn't particularly love this book. One being, I knew the plot as soon as I read the words. I felt like I was here before in another life. I knew what the plot was. I knew who she was. I knew why Adrian was like obsessed with her. The second is I didn't necessarily like the writing. The third is In this book, it kind of jumps scenes quite occasionally, which I didn't really understand. So for example, one moment should be in like a shower, and then the next moment she'd be dreaming and waking up from a nightmare. Like it didn't make any sense. Like one minute she didn't want Adrian and was like, oh, I will never go to him. And then the next minute she was like, oh, I can't stop. Like it just didn't make sense to me. I did like it. I loved Adrian. I think he has the potential to be a book boyfriend, but I don't particularly find myself continuing the series. Regardless, I enjoyed it, but not as much obviously as I Got to Monsters, Darling. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed my August reading wrap up. I know I did. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, my lovelies.